Hello, Fit Pros. Kelly here. Good to see you. All right. Everybody coming on in. Come on in. Let's do this. We're going to talk about some more business stuff today. So today we are talking about ways to charge your audience for your virtual sessions and also what you should charge. So I've done some research for you guys. I've got some information for you. I'm going to tell you how I do things. I'm going to tell you how some of our other Fit Pros do things. And I'm just really excited to talk to you guys about this. You know how much I love getting in here and just talking through some sort of subject with you. First thing I want to do, two things. Okay, so first of all, I'm not at home. I have escaped the house and come to this beautiful beach house here. Is that the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? Is that ridiculous? I cannot take any credit for that. This is my sister's beach house. They have this gorgeous, lovely beach house, and we are just lucky enough to have access to it. And since there are no short-term rentals, we were able to come down, and this usually gets rented, and we were able to come down and occupy it for a little while. So not my beach house, although I have karmically done something right in this world to have access to it for sure. And so, oh my gosh, and there's a cat on the porch. Did you guys see that? So we don't have a cat. Don't know what that is. So I'm here. I'm at the beach house, and I'm going to teach you guys today about charging for your virtual sessions, and let's get to it. So the first thing I want you to do, I want you to, in the comments, tell me, where are you watching from today? So geographically, where are you? You can tell me you're in your living room if you want, but I would love to hear where everybody is. And then I want you to say whether or not you currently have a business, and then whether or not that business is related to teaching virtual sessions. I like to call them sessions because some of us are teaching classes and some of us are doing personal training. So sessions kind of works for both. Hey, Rocky is commenting from California. And if you are not in business currently, then let me know if you are planning a business, if you have a business currently, or if you are just ready to go back to the gym and get with your peeps. So I want to hear about all of that. Tell me in the comments. I'd love to get that information from you guys. So thank you. Claire says hello from Newport Beach. So hey, Rocky and Claire, do you know each other? I know California is a super small place. All right, so today we are talking about getting paid for your sessions. So we have been through the gamut with these Facebook Live sessions. We have talked about, first we started talking about, how do we get online? How do we teach? How do we just get this service out to our people? And we were kind of like, it doesn't matter, whether or not we're getting paid. We just wanted to do our work, and we wanted to make sure that our participants were staying in shape and that they were getting the mental health and the physical health benefits that they get from our classes. We just wanted to make sure we were there for them. And it's so important to us, all of us. That's why we do what we do. We know we're not doing this because we're getting rich. There are other reasons that we do this. Hey, Lawrence, good to see you. And so we jumped in there, we started teaching, and then it became, #FitnessWorks. We should be getting compensated for this. And so how do we start to have that conversation? How do we make that happen? And so then the conversation started to happen about compensation. And now we need to continue to tighten that up, because some of us will continue to teach and teach virtually. And in the next few weeks, I think I have her booked for next Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm going to have Shannon Fable on, and she is going to talk about how teaching virtual classes and sessions should be part of your strategy. It always should have been part of your strategy, and how you can make it part of your strategy now. So just continuing to talk about all of this stuff. fitness works. So today we're going to talk about the different methods that you guys are using to get paid, and then which one is appropriate in which situations. So there's not one right answer to either of these questions. There is not one right answer to how you should charge, and there's not one right answer to what you should charge. It depends on what you're doing, what your goals are, how your cost structures are. So let's get into it. All right, so when we start talking about how to get paid, the simplest thing that I think a lot of us kind of defaulted to is to get into PayPal and just request that people send you money. This is what I am still doing with my yoga classes. So if you look at my yoga class from today, I taught out on the pier out there. It was really beautiful and wonderful. And I just said, hey, y'all, if this class is blessing you, then please just send me a cup of coffee, send me whatever you feel is appropriate, and here is my PayPal. And I just gave them Kelly at kellycoulter.com. And I actually got a new donation today, so I was really excited about that. And those classes are reaching a couple hundred people every time. I know that not all of us are getting that many, but I think I was one of the first people to start jumping on and doing classes. And so I tend to get more, and plus I let you guys know where my classes are, and a lot of the fitness instructors like to jump on and see what other people are doing, so they'll jump on and see what I'm doing. So my classes will get a few hundred people looking at them at any given time, either during the live or after. And then from that, I've had 3 or 4 donations. So the donations model is not really effective if you are really looking to get some money in from your classes. So you can say, hey, here's my Venmo, here's my PayPal, just send whatever you think is appropriate, or maybe, it's the honor system. I think that would be a little bit more effective, actually, if you said it's the honor system, send $6, send $10, send $20, and that might make people a little bit more accountable. But that is the simplest way, is to just teach the class and say, send me the money and here's the address. You can do that through PayPal. You can do that through Venmo. And then if you wanted to get a little bit more kind of accountability, if you wanted, oh, that's a good point. So Claire is saying donations are for charities, not professional services. She's right. I have not invested the time yet into making mine a little bit more structured. And because I started during quarantine as kind of donations or for free, I haven't made that leap yet. But what I'm planning to do is, as the gyms open back up, I'm going to offer both. I'm going to go back to, I teach at a community center, and I get a revenue split with the community center. And so I will continue to do that. But I have a lot of seniors, and I have a feeling that they are not going to want to come back into the community center. So I'm planning to set up a site where I'm so sorry. I got distracted because my daughter just walked through in a bikini, and I was so afraid she was going to walk across the camera, and I didn't want her to be immodest. Okay, so, yep, we heard that, Lawrence. It is for charities, not for free. Okay, so my plan is that as we go through Virtual Studio now, I'm going to be showing you guys me building out my virtual studio for Kelly Coulter classes. So as I build that out, you guys will also be building yours out if you join that course. And at the end, I will have that membership management, and I will have the platform for the delivery of the classes, and I'll have the website all in one place. And then I will have a membership site, and people will be able to join. I will add 1 class a week to that. I will continue to teach my live classes, and then there'll be that library of old classes there. So That's my plan for moving from donations to a more pay for the service model and pay by the month. And we're going to talk about that in a second, the difference between pay by session or pay by the month. All right, so if you want a little bit more accountability, then you can move into a model where you're sending invoices. Some people are using Zelle, and Zelle is through the bank. So the difference between PayPal and Venmo and Zelle is that Zelle is something that is supplied by your bank, and it's a transfer of funds from one person's bank to another. Whereas in PayPal and Venmo, they would use a debit card. And you guys tell me, because you've got more experience with Zelle. My credit union actually just got Zelle. So I'm not sure if they can also use a credit card or a debit card with Zelle, or if it's just a straight transfer of funds from one person's bank account to another person's bank account. But you guys let me know in the comments if you know. But Zelle is through the bank. So, and then there are invoicing softwares. So if you, let's say you have got a Facebook group set up and that's where you're delivering your classes, or you've got a Zoom conference room set up and that's where you're delivering your classes, and then people come to you, your method for getting people into your classes, that they're coming to you and they're saying, hey, I want to take your class, and then you send them an invoice, they pay it, and then you give them the location of the class, or you let them into that private Facebook group, or however you're doing it. So that is an option, and that is another way people are doing it, is by invoicing and then letting people in. So let me back up for 1 second. Rocky answered that question for me about Zelle. She said it's just account to account. There is no debit card ever involved for Zelle. Okay, so if you're wanting to invoice people and you want to get that accountability and make sure that you've got a certain number of people and that anybody that gets into the class has paid, then you're going to use an invoicing software. When we had Shannon on last week, she recommended QuickBooks. There is QuickBooks Online. It's available as a software as a service. It's not expensive. I use Zoho, and Shannon would frown upon Zoho because it's kind of a simplified version of some of the better invoicing softwares. It's super cheap, and I've just always had it, and so I need to make the switch at some point as I grow, but I just haven't done it yet. Okay, so QuickBooks, there is a way to do invoicing through PayPal, and there are other softwares out there. I'm trying to think of some of the online-only accounting softwares that I've encountered that have been really good. I know there are a few, and I'll put them in the notes if I find one that I really like. And you guys, please comment if you've got an online accounting software that you're using that you love. Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Okay, so those are different ways that you can use just to get the money in. So we're not talking yet about what you should charge, and we're not talking about kind of having an integrated system where your classes are behind a definite paywall. That is just a little bit of information about methods of getting money, because we're scrappy. This is down and dirty. We are all learning this together. And so those are some different ways. You've got 5 that we have mentioned here: PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, QuickBooks, Zoho invoicing. Those are 5 different ways that you can request that money and get that in. So what questions do you guys have right now about just the methods for getting the money from your participant to your bank account? Let me mention something else. So with PayPal and with Venmo, the money is transferred from those accounts to your bank account. So it kind of sits for a minute and then it goes. Venmo, it pretty much happens automatically. And then with PayPal, you have to tell it to transfer your money. So PayPal can kind of hold your money in an account. I've got a PayPal debit card because I've had PayPal since back in the eBay days when I used to sell stuff on eBay. I've got a debit card. So if money goes into my PayPal account, I can use that debit card right away to purchase whatever I need. If you don't have that, or if you don't have a business level account and you can't apply for that debit card, then you're transferring that money to your bank account and it takes like a day. They can also cut you a check. And Lawrence is suggesting Apple Pay. Great suggestion, Lawrence. I'm going to have to cover that a little bit further on a different episode because I didn't research Apple Pay, but Apple Pay is huge, really reliable, really good, and really accessible for a lot of people. So that is a great suggestion. Thank you. All right. So let's move on. So we're still talking about ways of getting paid, but I want to take it one step further and talk about ways that you're going to get paid where you are using more of a scheduling software. So this is especially going to be useful for personal trainers, for people who are getting paid by the session and want to know that somebody has paid them before they go and before they teach the session. And so there are scheduling softwares that kind of go anywhere from very simple to more and more complicated, and they have more and more functionality. So I personally use Calendly, and Calendly is a very simplified scheduling software. What it does is it brings up an interface for the participant that says these slots of time are available. And I can do that a couple different ways. I can either schedule those pieces of time into my calendar and then tell Calendly where that calendar is, or I can let it look at my calendar and figure out what is empty and then allow the person to schedule based on what is empty. With Calendly, you can have that person pay you right there in Calendly. So they schedule a session, and you guys can see this in action. If you go to culturewebpros.com, which is my search engine optimization company that I own outside of teaching fitness. If you go to that website and you click on schedule a call, you'll see a calendar. And then the calendar, if you click on any given day, it tells you what slots I have available, and you can schedule a 20-minute call. Now that 20-minute call is free, so it's not going to pop up a paywall. But if you go back to that schedule a call day, and then on the right, there's a button that talks about if you need a full strategy session. So that's for people who maybe want to have me work through something with them, need me to come in and fix something on their website. They need something that's going to be more like a deliverable from me, then they'll use that button. And then that still looks at the calendar, still gives them options for times, but it's going to have them pay before that time is scheduled for them. So that's what we're talking about, is allowing people to pay for a session. So they can pay, and then that money gets mine goes through Stripe. You can hook PayPal up to it as well. So you can put it in Stripe, and then Stripe transfers it to your bank account. And that takes a few days. But that is a way at least to know that these sessions that you're booking are getting paid. I don't know if you can do that for multiple people for the same session. So I think that with Calendly, that's really going to be a one-on-one. Then there is Acuity. So Acuity is also a scheduling software, and I know that you can do that one with multiple people. So that one is a little bit more functional. It's also a little bit more expensive. Calendly is $15 a month. I'm not exactly sure of the price of Acuity, but I know that in the group, I don't see her attending right now, but we have an Acuity expert, Kim Lehman. It's Lehman. I hope she doesn't mind me saying her name, but I know that her and I've talked a lot about Acuity, and she's posted a lot about it. And so if you guys are interested and need that information, I can even bring her on, and I know she'd love to talk about it with us. So Acuity is a little bit more functional. It's also a scheduling software. And then you've got really functional scheduling softwares like Mindbody. The last time I looked into getting MindBody, it was like $300 a month. So it's super expensive, but it's got the membership management piece in it. So it's more than just, it's more than just like I can schedule a session and then I can pay for it. It's like people come in, they can fill out paperwork. This is where we can put a waiver, which would be a really great thing to have. If you were a salon, you would have them filling out the information about their hair and their health and all that, but you could put a health assessment in there. And then it keeps all that information, and you can do more of a true membership management where you're doing maybe monthly subscriptions, maybe reminders for, well, all of them will do reminders, but it's fully functional. So it's that whole thing. If you have a business where you are doing a couple $1,000 worth of business online with your virtual sessions, you probably want to start looking into MindBody because it's going to have the most functionality. And I am a partner with MindBody, so if you have more questions about them, please let me know, and I'm happy to help. All right, y'all, what questions do you have? So we covered two different kinds of ways to bring that money in. One is kind of a personal one-to-one request, and then the second way is with some online scheduling software that would put your information about your class behind a paywall. Okay, and then let me break in real quick before we start talking about pricing. And I just want to say that next Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern is when my Virtual Studio Now sessions are going to start. So I've got a course that I have written out for you guys. It is 6 weeks, 6 sessions long. It's only going to be 3 weeks. It's like a boot camp because the idea is to get you guys set up to have a virtual business within 3 weeks. And so in that 3 weeks, we talk about legally setting up your business. We talk about legally setting up your business, things like insurance, things like all of the liability stuff, and then accounting. So we'll talk about accounting software, and we'll talk about methods of accounting. And then we're going to actually physically get in there, set up your website. So all of us will be working together. We're going to set up the website, and then we're going to set up the membership management. We're going to be using MemberSpace for our membership management. It's kind of a quick down and dirty membership management software that will integrate with the Duda websites that we're creating. And then we will also have everything behind a paywall. So that membership management will put everything behind a paywall, and then we'll integrate Zoom so that you've got this website where people can go, they can get the information about you, they can see your schedule, they can click on a class, they can pay for that class or pay for a month with you, and then they've got access to that back end that has the classes. So that's what Virtual Studio Now is going to be all about. And if you go to virtualstudionow.com, you can see the information, you can register. There still are discount registrations available, and that discount code is all over the group. I don't have it off the top of my head, but if you go back and look through some of the posts, you'll see it. Okay, so now let's talk about pricing. So now is when we're going to get a little emotional. I think this subject can be tough to talk about. So what I want you to do, let's take a deep breath. Okay, because you got to get rid of your hang-ups about getting paid. I got to get rid of my hang-ups about getting paid. I got to move those virtual sessions from donation, which is for charities, to actual pay-for-session sites. So we're going to do that together. All right, so pricing. Now, I want to say I'm not going to give you an exact formula right now for pricing. What I'm going to do is give you methodologies for figuring out your pricing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the temptation we all have to undervalue. I think a lot of people start thinking about what they want to charge for a session, and right away their mind goes to, what will people pay for this session? What will the most people pay for? Or maybe you go to Remember last Tuesday when we talked about what your mom's going to say when you open up a virtual business? And a lot of times people are concerned for your security. They want to see you get as much business as they can. And there's a lot of reasons that people will kind of undervalue you or try to get you to get as many people in there as possible. Okay, so you might go to your mom and you might say, I'm going to start this virtual sessions. We're going to start doing virtual sessions. And then she'll say, oh, well, people aren't going to pay more than $5 for a virtual session. It's, your mom is undervaluing it. She doesn't get it. She's not one of your target audience at all. And so she'll say, oh, you can charge $5. I don't think you could charge any more than that. Your mom is not your target audience. Your mom does not come to your class unless she does. Maybe she does. And if she does, I don't think she's going to tell you $5. If your mom is coming to your class or getting personal training from you, she's going to understand the value a little bit more. So we have a tendency to undervalue because we're looking to get as many people in there as possible. And we think, well, if it's cheap, then I can afford to do it because it's just on the internet. And if I get 60 people in there, then it doesn't matter anyways. I'm still rolling in cash, right? But the truth of the matter is a couple things. It's going to attract the wrong people. And so let's look at your business 12 months from now. So let's say that you start doing personal training or small group personal training. And let's say you're only charging $15 for each person. And they come in and they're taking classes with you. And you start realizing, I'm spending 5 hours on each session when it comes to following up with people and doing all these other things that we're going to talk about. I'm really spending so much time, and $15 a person is not getting me there. What are you going to do? It's so hard to have that conversation where you have to say, I have to raise my rates by 50%. That is not a fun conversation to have. It's a lot easier to either peel back or just stay where you are and look for more customers. If you remember what we talked about last week, if you have got one customer that is your ideal customer, the only thing you have to do to grow your business is sell to that same person again. And then the only thing you have to do to grow your business is to sell to that same person again. We're selling to one person. We're not selling to the masses. And so you sell to one person, and you sell to one person, and you sell to one person. That is how your business grows. It's not by undervaluing your product and then trying to sell it to as many people as possible. So that's the first problem. The first problem is that it's going to be really hard to raise your prices if you find out you were wrong and that you were too low. The second thing is that, oh my gosh, I just completely lost it. I've got my trusty notes here. So I read an article from fitnessmentors.com, which is Eddie Lester. That's somebody, a lot of you discovered this group because I was on Eddie's podcast a while back, and he's somebody that I'm going to have on this podcast at some point, or I'm sorry, not podcast, but Facebook live show at some point. Eddie is an awesome, super knowledgeable business owner. He started out as a personal trainer, and now he helps personal trainers pass the personal trainer certification. So he talked about the fact that it is so much mentally harder to raise the price than it is if you started too low than it is to lower the price if you started too high. So let's say you do start out really high, you've got that premium offering, and you're just not finding anybody. You can offer a discount, offer a coupon, offer a 6-month discount, offer a free trial. You can do those things that peel back and then bring people back in once they see the value, but it's going to be really hard to raise the prices on them once they're in. Oh, I love that. Claire says it's great to have a conversation about properly valuing our professional services, not for bargain basement and free. You know, you guys, we've seen that in the industry over the last 10, 15, 20 years. And I think that I don't know what's going to happen when we come back from these quarantines, because things are going to have to be different. We're going to have to be cleaning more. We're going to have to be, you know, less people in the gym. There's a lot that's going to have to change. And so with that, I don't know how that translates with the race to the bottom that everybody's done, but you have seen gyms competing with each other and racing to the bottom with price. And then with that, you've seen group fitness be undervalued, even though, listen, you guys, group fitness is the best way for a gym to get 50 people in the room and serve all of those people really well. They're paying an instructor $25, maybe. Not all of us are making $25. I'm not going to get on my soapbox about how much we should be making a class. But I will say this, $25 is not enough, and many of us are making much less than that. So they get 20, 30, 50 people in a room. They pay you $25. So they've served those people, every single one of those people, at 50 cents a head or at $1 a head or whatever it is. They can't do that in the weight room. They can't do that with small group training. So you guys value what you do. It starts with us. We have to value what we do. And then when gyms can't find good instructors because they're not valuing what we do, then maybe we can have a different conversation. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. So brand to undervalue. You're scared. You don't have any proven success stories for your virtual people yet. Your brand isn't mature. You want to appeal to as many people as possible. You think the key is to go really low so that you can bring, 100 people in a class, and then you're making like $600. But it's not going to work that way. You're undervaluing your product, which makes you look bargain basement. You're never going to be able to raise your prices because you brought in the cheapest people that you could find, and nobody's valuing any of it. All right, so start high. And I had a mentor one time, a long time ago, that had this theory, and I think she even wrote a blog post about it, that said when you write your price to a potential client for the first time, you should feel like you're going to throw up. If you do not feel like you're going to throw up, your price is not high enough. And I love that. That is so true. We just tend to undervalue, and just don't do it. Don't undervalue. So let's talk about all the things that go in, all these expenses, all the things that go in to running this business so that we can value properly. All right, so I have got, you guys, if you look at my notes, this whole section is all about the costs that you are probably not thinking about right now. And so let's talk about costs. The first thing is equipment involved. So we're talking virtual classes. That means you, at the very minimum, are going to need a computer, right? And you're going to need to buy some software. So probably as you move on with teaching, you're going to want more than a computer, and probably even to really bring premium clientele in, you're going to want a little bit more than a computer. So we've talked about the Logitech Brio that I have. There are a lot of other webcams out there. I love my Logitech Brio. I've talked about, the light correcting that it does, which I really love. Today it's not working for me. I look really yellow or red. I'm not sure why. So you're probably going to need a webcam, a good webcam, and especially one that has a wide angle so that you can back up, be close enough to your camera that you can still see some things, but far enough away that they can see you from top to bottom. So Logitech Brio or other webcam, Halo Light, you may want to get the softbox lights. They're not that expensive. So the webcam that I have, I think, was $200. The box lights that I have 2 of them. They came in a set. They came with tripods. They were $60 from Amazon. And then a microphone. I know that fitnessmics.com right now is running a really nice special for us on a really high-end microphone. If you look back through the Facebook Lives, you will see me unboxing that model. It's the U550. And actually, y'all, this is interesting. So because I was traveling, I did not bring that big blue Yeti microphone that you've seen me use a lot of times. So a lot of times I've got this microphone and it's pretty big. I did not bring that one with me. I brought this head mic that John from Fitness Mics sent me. So this is a different model. Let me see if I can find it. It's the G1555. And this one has a USB that goes right into the back of the computer. But I just brought that one microphone because that way I could use it when I teach my yoga classes and I could use it with you guys. And it is working out pretty well. I may not sound exactly the same as I do when I use my Blue Yeti, but it's still better than, it's less tinny than if I was using the computer mic. Okay, so you need a microphone, you need a webcam. The microphone is probably around 200, webcam's probably around 200, lighting's another 70. So right there, you're $500 in before we talk about what your computer costs. So your computer is gonna be anywhere from what, $1,000 to $3,000. So I just had to go out and buy a new iMac last week because my laptop finally kicked the bucket on Monday. And so I bought an iMac from the parking lot of Best Buy, and that was under $2,000, but it was not cheap. So computer, so here we're at 3,000. So we're at 3,000 setting up. That's equipment. Then we're talking more hard costs. So there are going to be fees involved every time you process a transaction, every time you process a payment from one of your participants, you're going to be charged 3%. So go ahead and whatever you think that you were going to charge, go ahead and add 10% to that just to cover those bank processing fees and the time that it takes you to deal with accounting and bank processing. Membership management software is not going to be free. So all of those things that we were just talking about, none of them are free. Some of them are $15 a month. Some of them are up to $300 a month. Depends on what you need, but none of it is free. So right there, put that into your costs. And then Zoom or your other conferencing software is probably not going to be free. So as you start to build more of a business out of your virtual classes, as you start to pull in money, as you start to really rely on these virtual sessions to bring in revenue, you can't count on the free versions of some of these softwares that we've used in the past. You're going to have to move up to the pro version, and it may just be the starter pro version, but it's still the pro version, and there's still money involved. There is an exchange of money. So the lowest version of Zoom that is a paid version is $14.99. And then I think it goes up to $60 a month. And then if you were a huge company, then that would be a different story. But so somewhere between 15 and 60 for Zoom. So we've got bank fees, we've got membership management, and then we've got Zoom. Let's talk about music. So we've talked about music a ton. With personal trainers, you can get away with no music. Some of us are doing group fitness classes with no music and just allowing our participants to play their own music at home. Some of us have gone to Muscle Mixes or Fitbeats or Power Music, and we have purchased royalty free. And so maybe you're using the same royalty free every session. Maybe you've got a couple different ones. But I know that I've purchased 2 different royalty frees from Muscle Mixes, and they were $20. That's right now. So royalty free at Muscle Mixes is $20 right now during the quarantines. Royalty free normally, and you guys listen up because this is important and something that could be really easily overlooked. Normally royalty free is like $200-300, maybe even more than that, because That's music that the producer made, owns completely. They took the time to write that music, have it produced. They own it. So it costs more because it's for video, and it's for video that is going to be recorded and played over time. And so it just costs more. Right now it's cheap. It is not going to be cheap forever. And you guys, there is a coupon code out there for Muscle Mixes that'll get you another 20% off. I'm sorry, I get so excited when I start talking to you guys, and then I need some water. So music is not going to be free, and if you want to play different music every time, you need to look at the cost of what your music is going to be. Now, there's another option for music. We keep saying that royalty free is the safest thing to do. There is also the option to pay the ASCAP and BMI and SESAC fees and then just use whatever music you want. There's also the option to use cover music, which would also be supplied by some of the music producing companies like Power Music, Muscle Mixes. That is music that they have re-recorded, so it's a popular song, and then somebody else is singing it, so it's not Macklemore singing Glorious, it's somebody else, and it is subject to less licensing fees, so you can go and pay those licensing fees that still apply and not have to pay all of them. So that's another option, and those are just things that you want to investigate, but no matter what, there is going to be cost involved in your music. I think that's what I want you to take away from this. Probably a couple $1,000 a year, at least a couple hundred to a couple $1,000 a year for music. Okay, then there are things like website hosting. So even if you are doing the course with me next week, so you will build your website, you will get your hosting for the first year with me, but then after that, it's like, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks a month. It's a nominal fee, but it's not nothing. It's not free. These are all things that add up, and that add up to you have to charge enough for your sessions. Okay, there is advertising costs. So if you do not have a mailing list of 300 participants and you don't think that 2 to 5% of them are going to purchase with you, you're going to have to do some things to get more participants and to get more of a following. So that means Facebook advertising, that might mean Google ads, that might mean buying booths at local shows, because even though you're doing a virtual business, you do want to start locally where people can know you. That's kind of the best way to build actually a virtual business, is to let people know you locally. And so even though they're working out with you online, they may have met you somewhere, or have access to you, or a friend knows you, something like that. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. And so it's always best to start hyper local. Okay, so there are advertising costs, and that is going to be proportional to your business size. So I like to tell people to set aside 10% of their revenue and put that into advertising if they are looking to grow. I know that sounds like a lot. It is a lot. It is. And, growing a business is expensive and hard and time consuming. And so that just is what it is. All right. Email software. So that's another advertising cost. Email software is not going to be free. For me, I have MailChimp. I use MailChimp to send the weekly newsletter for Fit Pros Connect. So if you have made your profile at Fit Pros Connect, you get the weekly newsletter. It contains all the articles and other things that are going on the site. And that is not free. I pay $50 a month for that because of the size of my mailing list. There are free options, but at some point you're going to outgrow them. Okay, so then let's talk about your time. What is your time worth? I am not saying that I want you to be charging hourly. I do not want you to be charging hourly. I want you to charge based on the value of your service. But there are times outside of the sessions that you're going to be spending growing this business, finding members, and then doing things like check-ins. So I apologize, y'all. My phone is beeping. All right, so there are things that you want to look at possibly being part of your service offering. Weekly check-ins. Do you want to offer a weekly or a monthly check-in with each participant? You call them up, you say, how you doing? How's your energy level? How's your nutrition? What can I do to help? Do you have any injuries right now? Just having a personal connection and making sure that they are getting what they are looking for out of your sessions. That is a value add. It's beneficial to you to have that information, but it's also a value add for them. And it's something that you can add to your monthly rate or your per session rate because you do this. Personalized support, same thing. So maybe on top of the monthly check-in, you're also saying, if you need to get a message to me, you can text me. I wouldn't recommend that. Don't give out your cell phone number. Don't get me started. Don't give out your cell phone number. Voxer is an awesome option. It's like a walkie-talkie, and people can text you through it, and then they can also like press the button and just record a voice message, and then you listen to that when you would like, and then they you send them a message back either through text or through the walkie-talkie piece. I'm in love with Voxer recently. It is amazing, and it has saved my life in a million different ways. Don't give out your cell phone number. All right, so I think you get the point. I hopefully, if nothing else, have just boggled your mind with the list of things that cost money that are related to you running your business that you did not expect. There's also the insurance piece. You know that we are partnering with Insure Fitness, and they are a great option, and they do cover all this virtual stuff. So go to insurefitness.com/FP, and they've got a deal for this group at that address. You guys, did I miss any expenses that we should talk about? Put it in the comments. I think, is Voxer free? Voxer has always been free to me. I haven't seen a paid option for it yet. There's got to be one out there, but. Okay, so I don't see anybody putting up any further paid things that we need to talk about right now. I'm sure they're out there, and I'm going to keep a running list so that when and if we talk about this again, I'll have even more. Okay, so here's what I want to tell you about pricing your offering. Whatever you're pricing your offering at, I want it to be, they're saying $3.99, Voxer, $3, $3.99. So yeah, there is a premium offering for Voxer. So, all right, let's talk about this. You can just charge your participants per session, right? So this is what we are tempted to do when we just start out. We want to just get some people in, get some money. So we say, you know, hey, I'm just going to charge people $10 a session, $15 a session. You know, if I get 5 people in class, I'm making way more than I am at the gym. Here's going to be the problem with paying per session is that you're constantly looking for more participants and other participants. You're going to be in this game of constantly looking for more business. So I'm going to equate this. I know that I have to speed this up, you guys, because we're getting to the 50-minute mark, and that's kind of when we all turned into pumpkins. So in my website business, I, for a long time, would build a website for somebody, or I would do their search engine optimization, and I would do it as a one-time project. Big mistake. I mean, y'all, the stress of having to look for a new project every couple weeks, every month, I cannot even tell you, versus if you bring someone in and they are your client and they are charging you every month because you are that essential business to them, and they gladly pay that money to you every month, and you don't have to worry about bringing in more participants every month. Let's say you feel like, okay, with all of the expenses that I know that I'm going to have, and with all of the time that I know I'm going to spend on this business, I want to make $300 a month. And so then you go back and you reverse engineer, $3,000 a month. Sorry about that. And so, taxes. We didn't talk about taxes. Don't forget about putting 20% aside for taxes at least. So let's say you say, I need to make $3,000 a month just to make this work. And so then you look at everything you're going to offer your participants. And let's say you're a personal trainer and you know that you're going to offer them 2 small group sessions a week. And you're going to offer them some personalized check-ins and maybe a nutrition plan. So there's all these things that you're going to offer them. You can reverse engineer and say, okay, I need to take 5 clients at $600 a month in order to make that work. Or, the maximum that I could serve and serve really well is, let's say, 8 clients. So then 3,000 divided by 8 is 450, 425, 425. And so you can start looking at charging by the month by using what is your service offering, and then what are your value adds, and then how many people do you need to bring in order to make your target number of money. Make sense? I want you to start this virtual sessions business with a recurring model where when you set up your software that is going to take the money, the paywall software, you're putting in people as a recurring monthly subscriber, not as a one-time session or a drop-in. Make sense? Okay, so recurring revenue is king, you guys. I want you to hear that. I want you to know that. Recurring revenue is king. This is how you're going to keep your hair. Sorry, Lawrence. Okay, I want to talk about one more thing real quick. We're at 52 minutes. Discounts and freebies. We talked in the beginning of this section of class about how, or this section of this Facebook Live, about how if you start high, you can always offer a discount or a free trial. I am not talking about somebody coming to you and saying, hey, I'm your cousin, so you have to charge me less, or this is the one that you will get a lot. I know a lot of people, and so if you charge me less, then I can bring in all these other people. I can tell them how great you did. If I lose weight, then I'll bring in all these other people because they'll see that I lost weight. Stuff like that. Y'all, you do not discount your service. If you've ever heard of Pareto's principle, which I know most of you have, the 80-20 rule, the 80% of the stress you get from your business is going to come from the 20% of the clients who are paying you the least amount of money. I promise you. I've been in business for myself for 6 years, and I can tell you it's just the truth. So take those discounts and those freebies. If you're going to do them, take them very seriously. Consider them very seriously before you offer them, and make sure they are only offered for a finite period of time, and then the person is enrolled after that. Okay, helpful, you guys? What questions can I answer for you right now? I don't see any questions coming in. Jackie says, we are valuable and we have expenses to cover. Consider this when when planning your fees. So, so, so true. Claudine, does Ensure Fitness only cover US instructors? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to tag Joe Fagan, who is our guy over there, in that question, and he'll be able to answer. Because I am not sure. Okay, so I'm going to tag him, and if he does not come in and answer, then I'll get back to you and make sure that I've got an answer for you. All right, what else? What else? Any other questions? I love all the comments here, you guys. I was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So much activity there. Okay, so that is a lot of information. If you've got more questions or anything like that, post them in the group. I'll answer them there. If you need to ask me privately, you can DM me. Lots of options for getting a hold of me. You guys, any questions right now about Virtual Studio Now? If you are considering doing this course, I want you to remember it starts next Tuesday, and I'm going to be conducting class before this Facebook Live. So at 12:30 Eastern, we will do Virtual Studio Now class. Shannon is going to teach the first 2 classes. I will be there. We will kind of co-teach, and she will cover all of the businessy, kind of like hardcore businessy stuff. And then I will come in and I will teach you website, membership portal, and integrating your session delivery into all of that. So by the end of it, you will have a fully set up business. And I would love to see you there. The website for that is virtualstudionow.com. virtualstudionow.com. I'm going to type it into the comments. There is still some of those discount codes available. So get in there, register. I don't have the discount code memorized, but I'll put it in a minute as soon as I end the class and the session. Okay, so Thursday we will be here with Richard Playfair. He is a virtual sessions expert. He has done a lot of filming with Les Mills and Beachbody and a lot of big virtual fitness organizations, and he's going to come in and talk to us about teaching sessions. And so that's going to be super helpful and really exciting. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. All right, I think that is everything I've got for you guys today. I'm going to come on again in a minute, and I'm going to talk about joining Fit Pros Connect as a business level member. So if you need that information, you're going to see me jump back on and talk about that. That is for people who have a product that they want to get in front of fitness instructors and personal trainers. Okay, y'all, I will talk to you soon. I love you. Thank you for being here. Bye.